Octopath Traveler 0 has been a godsend this year for turn-based RPG fans. With fun city building mechanics, a wide range of skill customizations, and over 30 possible party members, this game has been eating up a ton of my time. But with so many party members and skill combinations, it can get overwhelming. So that's why I've dug deep, circled the web, read into inheritable skills galore, and yes, tested this in the game myself after over 60 hours of playtime, and I'm pretty sure I've cracked the code. Here's the best endgame party you can cobble together in Octopath Traveler 0. Now let me be clear with my usual disclaimer, even though people will ignore this and jump on me in the comments regardless. You do not have to do this. Octopath 0 has a ton of customization for a reason, and you can easily cobble together something that can obliterate much of the game using any of your favorite characters. I even saw a player from Japan online beat the entire game with just the OG Wishvale crew. Looking into this is just fun for me, and I love seeing how far I can push games before they begin to crack at the seams. We'll be building an endgame team to take on Octopath 0's toughest challenges, utilizing characters that will also help you throughout the entirety of the game, and I've considered much in crafting this squad together. I'm heavily considering availability. While there are some compelling characters, such as Tatlock, a lack of availability massively impacts my considerations. If a character is strong but you haven't been able to use them for 3/4 of the game, and they need to grind a lot the second they join, are they really that good? We're also considering skill inheritance. While certain characters like Olberic, for example, have powerful skills to inherit, we must consider that we can inherit passively by training them in Wishvale. So even if a character has a singularly strong support skill, we want to look at all available innate skills, and especially the ultimates, which cannot be inherited, when making our decisions. Finally, we want to consider job availability. Some jobs have a wide range of characters available near the beginning of the game, so we really need to focus down to the best of the best. Others are limited to certain characters, with some jobs being so overwhelmingly strong that that character becomes an auto-include. Specific jobs are better at different things, with warriors being the kings of physical damage, hunters having incredible break potential, and so on. All of this, availability, who's in those jobs, who is the strongest character in that job, etc., was considered when crafting this ideal 8-person party. I hope this video helps you out and gives you some new ideas for Octopath 0 that you hadn't considered. If it did, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, etc., because all of that really helps me out. And we start our builds with the Ringbearer, the only character that has to be in your party at all times. In my previous video, I mentioned you would want to start with a class like Merchant, maybe leading into Dancer or Cleric, as it grants survivability and plenty of good support skills for your other party members to inherit. Support is also few and far between in the beginning of the game. However, once you start getting some decent supporters on your team in the mid-game, like Saoirse, Pius, you can easily fill that glaring elemental damage hole on your team and move your main character into Scholar. Octopath 0 suffers heavily from the fact that Alexia is your only Scholar for the vast majority of the game, so having a second Scholar to cover weaknesses and help with breaking is insanely helpful. And you can even take the Scholar and push them further beyond and use them throughout the rest of the game. A Ringbearer Scholar covers fire, wind, and light weaknesses, granting them more break options than any other class they could pick. They also have some of the strongest sets of innate passives for their class, with Mystic Break in particular standing out. Mystic Break is a free buff, and just for staying in the back row, you are going to increase your elemental attack. You're going to be swapping between front row and back row a lot, using your back row's character's BP after they build it up, and just swapping so you keep your party fresh and healed. With that free elemental attack buff you gave yourself just for being in the back row, your damage is going to skyrocket. The weakness we need to shore up with the Ringbearer Scholar is we need single target magic that deals great damage, since our base lacks that. Ice Blast is relatively easy to grab and provides ice weakness coverage, and you can just basically pick any magical ability that deals great damage specifically and throw that onto your Scholar, and you will have a tactical nuke sitting in your back row. Support masteries start with surpassing power from Olberic, which is non-negotiable. You need to be able to break that damage cap in the endgame. You'll also want to grab Elemental Expertise to increase your overall elemental damage. With proper support from a BP donator and enough SP recovery in your arsenal, you will have the first part of a team that can keep pressure on your opponents and just doesn't stop. Backing up your protagonist should be your forcibly assigned waifu, Heidne. Heidne gets a significant physical and elemental attack boost when paired with the protagonist, and it is worth capitalizing on. Not only is she a great dagger DPS, but she's packing some of the best debuffs from mid-game onward, and she has better availability than Tatlock. Being able to debuff 2 stats at once is huge, and while she's admittedly not as impactful overall as Tatlock, she's available for much more of the game, and you have far more time to grind out some powerful skills for her. One of the other things that I feel puts her over Tatlock is her incidental steal. Steal in general is busted in this game because for some bosses it duplicates the item that they will drop. If you steal an item from a boss, you can still get that item as a drop, duplicating some powerful items like scarves or even simple consumable items you don't want to spend money on like Olives of Life. Heidne also has Patience, giving her a 25% chance to act again in a turn, which is a nice bonus. For support masteries, we want Surpassing Power, so she can deal decent damage to debuff foes, especially those weak against daggers, and Incidental Heal, allowing her a chance to restore an ally's HP while debuffing. For battle masteries, we want to push for damage as well as debuffs that hit all of our enemies. Go with Oppression for a team-wide physical attack and defense reduction, Eerie Smile for a team-wide physical and elemental defense reduction, and of course Assassination for single target dagger damage, which is stronger if you sub her in from the back row the same turn you use it. This turns Heidne's obsession with you into a weaponized enemy debuff, reducing the defenses of some of the game's most formidable enemies to nothing more than wet paper, allowing the rest of your team to clean up. Now we need one of our team to absolutely shred our enemies' shields. Those pesky things keep us from seeing big number go up, which is the most important part of any RPG. To accomplish this, we want to make use of the best returning character from the OG Octopath Traveler, Heidne. She was busted in that game, and remains so in this one. Her base kit is honestly even better than it was in the first title, since taming pets wasn't necessarily all that great. What sets Heidne apart are 2 of her innate skills, Rain of Arrows and Arrow Storm, dealing some incredibly high hit counts to her enemies. Combined with Saoirse's ultimate, which ignores weakness types when breaking, Heidne can absolutely shred our enemies with ease, priming our attackers to go to work taking down our broken enemies. Her ultimate Hunter's Drive benefits from this as well, making Heidne our break queen. The problem is that if we don't have Saoirse's ultimate up, for she can only break bow weaknesses, but we can shore up her abilities with some other skills. For battle masteries, we want Run Rampant on her to be able to multi-hit enemies with her axe as well as her bow. Ultimate Stance is nice as well, allowing an SP-starved Heidne to hit all enemies with her standard attack, and it stacks with incidental attack. Vigorous Strike fills our final slot, granting a bonus to Heidne's damage if her HP is maxed, something that is very easy to accomplish. Her support masteries are going to capitalize on her breaking potential. We want Salt the Wound, allowing Heidne to act again after breaking, giving her a chance to clean up any unbroken enemies with Vigorous Strike, or swap to a back row ally to provide support or deal damage. Surpassing Power is our second get, since Heidne's damage is good enough that she can also fire off damage while enemies are broken. I've seen arguments online that Sazantos is the best breaker we would have in the game, but I respectfully disagree. Maybe it's just nostalgia for the first game and general availability, but my money is on Heidne. Now behind my breaker, I like to put my BP donator. This character's sole purpose is to provide support in the forms of buffs and debuffs, and to give their BP to other more powerful allies for some truly explosive turns while your enemies are broken. I was very torn between 2 characters in particular for this role, Stia and Alfin. Stia has a great passive for her paired ally, but Alfin restores BP to both the front and back row with his ultimate. After much consideration and testing, I've got to say Stia wins out. The free SP recovery she grants an entire row is just way too good. She also has Unsung Hero, making her paired ally, in my case my breaker, immune to status effects. For battle masteries, Vigorous Strike shows up. Its scaling is just crazy good. We can also give her Thundering Cleave and Tri-Edge, just in case the enemy has an axe or dagger weakness we have to hit. For support masteries, we focus a little on that ultimate to keep your party charged and ready. Ultimate support grants Stia a faster ultimate charge, so you're prepared to dole out BP at the right time. Ultimate charge itself we're saving for another character, since your enemies will not be broken right at the start. You have time. We'll also combine this with back row support, allowing Stia to heal her ally in front while she sits and waits to charge her ultimate and get BP to donate. BP batteries like Stia are essential to clearing the most difficult Octopath content. And even though Stia is the very first character we get to join our party, she's a character who can and should travel with you throughout the entire game. Next, we have our physical damage healer, decked out with your strongest battle-tested or forbidden weapons. Debuff your enemies, break them, and then just watch your physical damage dealer cut them to ribbons. And look, as much as I love Ulberich and recognize the internet's love for Viator, nobody does it better than Reime. Reime is an absolute monster of a character who I don't feel was playtested very well at all. Her passive list is stacked with a chance to reduce her BP consumption to 0, raise the potency of her multi-hit attacks, of which there are many, and she charges her ultimate gauge when hitting an enemy's weak point. She's a built-in counter that ignores weaknesses, a multi-sword strike battle skill, and an ultimate that hits 6 times, benefiting from all of these aforementioned passives. The woman is essentially Sephiroth. Despite an excellent base kit, we can push her even further beyond with masteries. For battle masteries, we start with Twin Strike, giving her a more powerful multi-hit polearm attack. Early game sword master skill Brutal Sweep is nice. It hits an entire group of enemies weak to swords, triggering off her passive multiple times. And we want to do the same with polearms too, so we'll give her Spear Whirl as well. This way she's good whether you're fighting a group of standard enemies or a boss. For support mastery, Surpassing Power is an auto include, so you can watch her absolutely shred her enemies with augmented boosts from Ludo's shop. And with this combo, I'll explain with our subsequent inclusion, Reime will be spending BP like crazy, and she'll get an even bigger damage bonus off of the AP that she has spent, creating the most potent physical damage dealer the game has on offer. Paired directly behind Reime is the dancer Goodwin, providing her with backline support. Goodwin's active and supportive skills provide a strong incentive to pair him with Reime specifically. His vast energy support skill pairs nicely with her passive, providing an even greater chance to reduce her BP consumption to 0. Song of Battle is also magnificent when paired with Reime's counter. He'll buff her defense, immediately swap with her, and then, since you should have used her counter before this, she'll take hits from your allies while breaking the enemy and charging her ultimate. It is a match made in heaven, and I need fan art of 2 of them together, immediately. Now, battle masteries. Donate charge as a first pick is excellent. Goodwin's ultimate isn't super great, but we don't want all of that charge to go to waste. So why don't we just donate it to someone else who needs it? Fan Frenzy is another great pick to target an enemy with a fan weakness. And for his last pick, we'll give him Utsusemi Dance, giving him yet another opportunity to deal some damage and then retreat to the back row to be protected by the more powerful Reime. Support masteries are all in on buffing Reime from the back row. Back row support keeps her HP topped off, allowing her to keep on fighting. And beyond that, Study Foe is nice as well, providing an extra weakness reveal at the start of the battle. With a setup like this, Goodwin is fully prepared to push Reime's potential into the stratosphere, providing more staying power and ensuring her BP consumption to boost her attacks is more of a suggestion than an actual price you need to pay. For our final pairing, we start with a healer. I didn't forget. I know we need someone to keep our party topped off when they get rocked by some crazy attacks. I thought about this for a while. Alaune is excellent. You can absolutely use her, and she's a great character to boot. But she joins our team way too late for me to comfortably recommend her. This moved my decision between Laurana and Ophilia. While Laurana does provide a very powerful incidental revive, hitting the entire party with her ultimate, we're already doling out ultimate boosting masteries to other party members. This makes our best bet Ophilia from the original Octopath Traveler. She has some great heals on demand for entire rows and also sports a party-wide revive. She can get healed above her own max HP for additional survivability, making her a pseudo-tank. And she also boosts party JP gains, which is nice when it comes to farming skills for the rest of your team. Our battle skills are wholly focused on providing heals and support. We take Vivify as a cheaper single target resurrection option. We're also grabbing Arcane Healing for a full row heal that removes an attribute reducing effect. Our third battle mastery goes to Rest, allowing Ophilia to take a break on turns when healing isn't needed, keeping her SP topped off. Her support masteries are also entirely pooled towards keeping that SP as high as possible so she can keep healing. SP Saver halves the SP she uses with her abilities, making her heals for the team more budget-friendly. We'll also throw on Rear Second Wind so she's constantly regenerating SP in some way while our buffer is up front, keeping the party primed to deal damage. With Ophilia protecting our team as our last line of defense, there is going to be nothing your team will be unable to accomplish. And our final character, providing back row support for Ophilia and buffs for the entire team, is a character you recruited very early on, Saoirse. Saoirse has one of the best ultimates in the whole game, allowing one character to break regardless of their weapon type. Using this even gets around enemies with weakness block turned on. So if an enemy blocks a weakness, say a bow weakness, you can use this ultimate to get around it and still hit that weakness. It's useful throughout the entire game, and characters like Heidne, Reime, and the protagonist benefit from it extensively. She can also benefit from the protagonist's later game ultimate Seal Teaches Seduction, passing her dancing buffs that are only a single target to all allies. Back Row Dancer is a fantastic capstone support skill, filling the ultimate gauge of everyone in the front row while she is in the back. Saoirse sets up everything for your allies so they can knock them down. She is an indispensable part of your party from the moment she joins, and you make the game more difficult by not using her. For her battle masteries, we want to provide the buff coverage she is missing, so we'll take Lion Dance and Peacock Strut from Primrose to allow Saoirse to buff the attack of her allies. Sidestep is also a powerful pairing with the protagonist ult, allowing her to grant your entire party a dodge. You didn't think I forgot about that from previous Octopath games, did you? Now for support masteries, we start with Ultimate Charge, immediately charging her ultimate technique one level to make our breaker go to work as fast as possible. Just make sure you're stacking enough speed on her so her ultimate affects your breaker before the breaker's first turn. And her other skill is Celebration of the Arts, increasing the duration of the buff from her dances by one turn. With a setup like this, Saoirse's dancing will guide your team to victory, ensuring they have the stat boost to crush the most challenging options the game can throw at you, and straight up ignore one of the game's most essential mechanics. And that's it, my picture-perfect party for Octopath Traveler 0. Now I know you may think some characters are missing, like Tatlock and Idla, but as is the case with many games I look at, I honestly don't believe late-game recruits are as powerful as some may think. These characters are by no means Thunder God Sid, and you'll likely already have a stacked party by the time they join you, and with how long Octopath Traveler 0 is, you may not want to have to grind so late in the game. But I want to know what you think regardless. What is your ideal party in Octopath 0? Who is your favorite character? What class did you pick for your Ringbearer? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If my video helped you out and you'd like to support me beyond a sub, you can also find links to my Patreon and Ko-fi down below. Huge thanks to everyone on all platforms for their support, and a big thank you to you for watching this video to the very end. This is Kawaii50, hoping you all have a phenomenal day, and I'll see you all in the next one.